So often students come to me and they say, I want to learn how to improvise better over chord changes. And I say, cool, let's start with some simple chord tone stuff, but they don't even know what the basic chord tones are. So on this week's free online saxophone video, I'm going to show you the quickest and easiest way of learning your chord tones for the 4 basic chord types. Now, I've got a free cheat sheet PDF that you can download using the link there before we start doing the lesson. That has got all the basic 4 chord tones in every key in the manner in which I'm about to teach you. Right, let's crack on and I'll show you how to do this, how to learn your chord tones. Now, there's a couple of extra resources that you need before we kick off. First of all, check out the video linked up there now. If you don't know what the notes of the chords are, this video will teach you exactly how to find out the notes of any chord. Very useful. Also, make sure you go and check out this video, which is how to practice your scales part 2, which covers a lot of the concepts that I'm going to teach you today. Right, the easiest way to learn your chord tones is by understanding that all the 4 basic chord types that you're going to learn are built into the major scale that you already know. So, down there you can see C major scale. But on each note of the scale, I have built a 7th chord using the notes from that major scale. You see, we call it the diatonic chords, okay? So they are C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, and B minor 7 flat 5, or B half diminished, whichever way you want to call it. So within every major scale, if you just use the notes of the scale and stack your chord up in thirds, build your 7th chord, in other words, in intervals of thirds, only using the notes of that major scale, you already get all the main chord types. You get 2 major 7 chords. Yeah, in fact, you get more than one version. You get 2 major 7 chords. You get 3 minor 7 chords. You get 1 dominant 7th chord, and you even get your bonus minor 7 flat 5 chord. So just using the scales that you already practice, you can learn your chord tones. Now, this is what you're going to do. It's very important that you look at the chord symbol as you're playing up and down the arpeggio, built on each scale degree, or even better, if you think about it in your head. So if you don't want to look at it, at least think about that chord symbol in your head as you play this exercise. So you start in one key. We're going to start in C. Now obviously it's going to sound different from the piano key I just played. And you're going to play up and down the arpeggio built on each scale degree. Here's what the first scale degree sounds like. This is C major 7. Then you move on to the next scale degree. By the way, I'm using soprano today because I'm very tenorist, aren't I? I'm very prejudicial to the other saxophone. So if you're a soprano player, I'm all about you today. Right, we move on to the 2nd scale degree, and we have D minor 7. Now, it's very important as you do this to think and visualize the chord symbol that you're playing. So you're really thinking, okay, D minor 7. I know it's all notes of C major, but you're really thinking about that chord. Okay, on to the next one. You've got E minor 7. And then you've got F major 7. G7. A minor 7. And finally, B minor 7 flat 5, which is also known as B half diminished. And then you'd go back to 1. So you already know your major scale. I hope you already know your major scales. If you don't know your major scales, start learning your major scales. But this is a two-way traffic. So not only is it a fantastic way to learn your chords, your chord tones is a fantastic way to learn your major scales because you're really getting these patterns under your fingers in a way that's useful when you come to improvise. So that is step 1. You're just going to go up and down each arpeggio built on each scale degree. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is quite simple. You're going to go up the first chord. So you're going to go up C major 7, and then when you get to the B at the top there, you're going to go down the D minor 7 chord, but you have to go up a note to do that. So you're going to go C, E, G, B, and then you go up to C and come down D minor 7. C, A, F, D. It's much easier played than talked about. And then you're back to E minor 7. You're going to go up that, down the next one, up that, down the next one. So here's what the whole pattern sounds like. Now here's the important bit in terms of the chord turns. You're really going to be thinking about what chord you're playing as you do those patterns. So you're either strongly looking at that chord symbol on the page or thinking about it in your head. C major 7, da 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 da, D minor 7, dee 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 dee, E minor 7, da 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 da, F major 7. Now, the good thing is, you've already learned 7 chords. You've already learned the chord tones for 7 chords on your first major scale. And then you go up a fifth. Now, if you go and get your free PDF, which is linked there, I've got this all these chords written out for you in all 12 keys. So that's your cheat sheet. You print it off on your music stand and you work your way through it. So by the time you move on to the next key, which is G, what you'll find is that you've already got some of the chords covered. For example, A minor 7 is in C major and G major. So you get to that A minor 7 and you're like, oh yeah, I already know that shape. That's good. But then, of course, you've got some new ones. You've got B minor 7, which you hadn't had before. You get to the 4th scale degree of G and you've got C major 7. Okay, already got that covered. That's cool. D7's new. Then you've got E minor 7. Oh, I already know E minor 7 because I did it in C major. And then you've got a new one again, which is F sharp, half diminished, and so on and so forth through the 12 keys. And you start to build up a repertoire of all the chord symbols. Now, once you've done that, you can move on to step 3. Step 3 is quite simple. You just choose a standard or a song that you know, and you start arpeggiating the chord symbols as you see them. You can probably use iReal Pro, and when you see that chord symbol, you just play the arpeggio. Quite simple. Now, you already know them because you've been working on them through all your major scales. Okay, I've just chosen a standard at random. There will never be another U. Now, normally I'd be playing it in B flat pitch and the first chord would be F major 7, but whatever. I'm just going to do the exercise and do it reading the concert pitch chords. So what you're going to do is just arpeggiate each chord as you see it. You can do it as 8th notes. You can do it as quarter notes. So that would sound something like this. Ended up with a few rapid 8th notes there at the end. So I was doing that mostly quarter notes, crotchets, just 4 for each chord. Now that's really going to embed those chord tones that you've learned using the major scales, and you should choose a wide variety of standards and songs so you really start getting those chord tones in your head. So that's all I got for you this week. That is the best and quickest way of embedding chord tones. It's just using the diatonic chords built on the major scales that you already know and fixing those notes in with the chord symbol, then practicing it over standards. Now remember, you can grab your free PDF cheat sheet, which has got all those chords, all the chords written out in every key. Really cool. You just put it on your music stand and you start working through it. And before you know it, you'll know the chord tones for the 4 main chord types, you know, not every chord, not diminished or anything like that, but the 4 main chord types in every key, which is super cool. Now, in the meantime, there's a bonus video inside the Inner Circle membership I would highly encourage you to check out the Inner Circle membership because it's a super fluffy, awesome place to be if you love saxophone. There's a bunch of really enthusiastic saxophonists like you in there, and there's loads of really cool content. You've got your bonus YouTube video, you've got your monthly inspirational solo of the month, we've got guest interviews with really cool people. There's blogs where you can follow me around all my gigs and, learn straight from the pro stage. And there's lots more besides. It's a super cool place to be. Go and check out the Inner Circle. If you bought me a coffee, you are very generous. And if you want to buy me a coffee, you are very generous. Just use the link there. All right. Until next week, make sure you practice hard, practice smart, and enjoy your music. Take it easy. Oops. I think that is it.